The shuttle landed with a soft hum. Una Park stood up from her seat and looked through the window. The Galactic Coalition Academy spread before her like a metal flower. Towers of glass and steel reached toward the purple sky. Ships flew between buildings like insects. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. She was small. At 160 centimeters, she was shorter than most humans. Her face was soft and round. Her eyes were gentle. Her hands looked like they had never held anything heavier than a book. When she walked down the shuttle ramp, the alien cadets nearby stopped talking and stared. A tall creature with blue scales laughed. "Look at this. They sent us a human child." Una kept her head down and walked past them. She had learned long ago that the best armor was silence. The Academy accepted its first human cadets this year. Earth had finally earned a seat at the galactic table. But earning a seat and being welcome were two very different things. The galaxy remembered the border wars. They remembered how humans had fought with terrible fury over a small mining colony. 30 alien soldiers had died in a single night. No one knew how the galaxy feared what it did not understand. And it did not understand humans. Una found her room on the 4th floor of the cadet dormitory. Her roommate was already there. A young woman with short black hair sat on one of the beds, checking her flight gear. She looked up and smiled. "You must be Una. I am Hannah Cho, pilot track." She stood and offered her hand. Una shook it. "Combat track," she said quietly. Hannah's eyebrows rose. "Combat? You?" She caught herself and quickly added, "Sorry, that was rude. You just look so small." Una finished. "I know." That night, Hannah noticed something strange. When Una unpacked her bag, she moved with careful precision. Every item went to an exact place. And when she thought Hannah was asleep, Una slid a thin blade under her pillow. The metal caught the moonlight for just a moment before it disappeared. Hannah pretended not to see. The next morning brought their first assembly. Commander Vorik stood on the main stage. He was massive. His species, the Draconi, were reptilian giants. Green scales covered his body like armor. His yellow eyes scanned the crowd of cadets with cold attention. "You are here because you believe you are special," he said. His voice was deep and rough. "You are wrong. You are nothing. This academy will break you down and build you into soldiers. Some of you will not survive this process." His eyes found the small group of human cadets standing together. "Some of you should not be here at all." Una felt Taiho Kim step closer to her. Taiho was tall for a human, with broad shoulders and a serious face. He had trained with Una since childhood. He was the closest thing she had to a brother. "Ignore him," Taiho whispered. "He wants us to react." Una said nothing. She had no intention of reacting. Not yet. The weeks that followed were hard. Commander Vorik assigned humans the worst duties. They cleaned waste systems. They carried heavy equipment in high-gravity zones. They ran obstacle courses designed for species with 4 legs or wings. Una did everything asked of her. She ran slowly. She lifted modestly. During combat evaluations, she performed at exactly average levels. Never too good. Never too bad. Just enough to pass. The instructors marked her as unremarkable. The alien cadets marked her as weak. Both conclusions were exactly what she wanted, but small things began to slip through the cracks. During a hand-to-hand training session, a Kovathi cadet grabbed Una's wrist too hard. For one heartbeat, her body reacted before her mind could stop it. Her free hand moved toward his throat. Her weight shifted to a killing stance. Then she caught herself. She went limp. She let him throw her to the mat. The Kovathi laughed and walked away. He never knew how close he had come to death. Taiho saw. He found her after class in an empty hallway. You almost killed him, he said. I stopped. Yuna. His voice was low and urgent. They can never know what you are. What we are. If they find out, they will not find out. Her voice was soft but certain. I have spent my whole life hiding. I will not fail now. Taiho studied her face. Then he nodded and walked away. That night, 3 alien cadets cornered Yuna in a storage bay. They were Draconai, like Commander Vorix. Young males with more pride than sense. Little human, the leader said. We have been watching you. You think you belong here? Yuna stepped backward. Her shoulders hunched. Her eyes went to the floor. She looked exactly like what they expected. A scared, small, helpless creature. Please, she whispered. I do not want trouble. They laughed. One of them grabbed her arm and slammed her against the wall. Another drew a short blade from his belt. We are going to give you a gift, he said. A scar to remember your place. He brought the blade toward her face. Yuna's eyes changed. The fear disappeared. Something else took its place. Something very old. Something very cold. Her body remained still, but inside, ancient training awakened like a sleeping dragon. She saw every weakness. The angle of his elbow. The balance of his weight. The exposed arteries in his neck. 17 ways to kill him passed through her mind in less than a second. She did not move. Not yet done, but for the first time since arriving at the academy, Yuna Park smiled. The storage bay doors slid open. 2 instructors walked in on patrol. The Draconai cadets quickly stepped back. They muttered excuses and left. Yuna let out a breath. The cold thing inside her went back to sleep. She returned to her room and found Hana waiting. Are you okay? Hana asked. You look pale. I am fine, Yuna said. She climbed into bed and pulled the covers up to her chin. Her hand found the blade under her pillow. She was not fine. The mask she wore was getting harder to hold. And somewhere deep inside, a part of her was tired of wearing it at all. The story spread through the academy like fire. The small human girl had frozen in fear. She had cried and begged. The Draconai cadets told everyone who would listen. By morning, Yuna Park was a joke. She walked through the hallways with her head down. Cadets bumped into her on purpose. They whispered insults as she passed. She let them. Every laugh, every cruel word, every shove added another layer to her mask. But not everyone believed the story. Dayan Beek was a senior officer stationed at the academy. He was human, one of the first to reach high rank in the coalition military. His hair was gray at the temples. His face carried the lines of a man who had seen too much death. When he requested a private meeting with Cadet Park, the administrators did not question it. Yuna entered his office at exactly the scheduled time. The room was simple. A desk, 2 chairs, a window that looked out at the stars. Dohyun did not stand. He studied her for a long moment, his dark eyes sharp and knowing. Sit, he said. She sat. I reviewed the security footage from the storage bay, he said. The official footage shows 3 cadets harassing you. Then instructors arrive. End of story. Yuna said nothing. But I have access to better footage. Hidden cameras that even the academy does not know about. He touched a button on his desk. A hologram appeared in the air between them. The image showed a mining colony. Buildings burned. Bodies lay on the ground. Then the footage shifted to a different angle. A single figure moved through the chaos. The figure was small. The figure held a blade. And the figure killed. 30 armed mercenaries fell in less than 2 minutes. The blade moved so fast it blurred. Each cut was perfect. Each movement was smooth like water. When it was over, the small figure walked away without a single wound. Dohyun paused the footage. Varus 4 mining colony, he said. 3 years ago. 30 mercenaries hired to take control of the facility. They were well-trained, well-armed. They dived so fast that their own security footage could not track what killed them. He looked at Yuna. Coalition analysts studied this footage for months. They could not identify the fighting style. No species in the known galaxy uses these techniques. He leaned forward. But I know this style. I have seen it before, once, a long time ago. Yuna's hands rested on her knees. They did not move. During the isolation wars on Earth, Do-Yun continued, when humanity was tearing itself apart, certain governments created special soldiers. They were called Jiongui, blade ghosts. They were trained from childhood in techniques passed down through secret families. Techniques designed for one purpose only. He paused. Killing. Fast, efficient, unstoppable killing. Yuna finally spoke. Her voice was soft. That was a long time ago. Yes, and when the wars ended, every nation on Earth agreed to ban these techniques. The knowledge was too dangerous. A single Jiongui could assassinate world leaders, could end armies, could change the course of history with nothing but a blade and shadow. He slid a data chip across the desk. 12 star systems have since added these techniques to their list of war crimes. If the Coalition discovers what you are, you will not be arrested. You will not receive a trial. He met her eyes. You will be executed. Yuna picked up the data chip. She turned it over in her fingers. Then she put it in her pocket. Then I suppose, she said quietly, no one should discover it. Do-Young leaned back in his chair. Why are you here? Why join the academy? You could disappear. A ghost like you could live 100 lifetimes and never be found. Yuna was silent for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice carried something heavy, something sad. Because I am tired of hiding. Because my grandmother gave her life to teach me these skills. Because humans are seen as weak, and I wanted to stand among the stars and prove them wrong. She looked at him. Not with violence. Just by being here. By surviving. By showing that we belong. Do-Hyun nodded slowly. Your grandmother. She was your teacher? Yes. The footage from Varus 4. That was you protecting human miners from mercenaries who would have killed them all. Yes. He sighed. You saved lives that day. But the galaxy will not see it that way. They will see only the killing. The impossible speed. The banned techniques. He stood and walked to the window. Be careful, Yuna Park. Commander Vorax is looking for any excuse to destroy the human program. If he learns what you truly are, he will use it to condemn all of humanity. Yuna stood. I understand. She turned to leave. One more thing, Do-Yun said. She stopped. In the storage bay. When that cadet brought the blade to your face, I saw your eyes change. I saw what woke up inside you. She did not turn around. You wanted to kill them. Every part of you wanted to kill them. But you stopped yourself. That takes more strength than any technique. His voice softened. Your grandmother would be proud. Yuna walked out without another word. That night, she dreamed of the past. She was 7 years old again. The mountain compound was cold in winter. Her grandmother stood before her, thin and old but straight like a sword. Your body is your first weapon, her grandmother said. But your mind is your true blade. Anyone can learn to kill. Only the strong can learn when not to kill. Young Yuna held a wooden training knife. Her hands were small. Her arms were tired. Again, her grandmother said. Yuna moved through the form, step, cut, turn, strike. Her grandmother watched with eyes that missed. Nothing. Faster. Smoother. You must become water. Water does not think. Water does not hesitate. Water simply flows. Again and again. And again, years passed in the dream. The wooden knife became steel. The child became a young woman. And the grandmother grew old. On her final night, the old woman held Yuna's hands. "You are the last," she whispered. "The last true Jiangui. The galaxy has forgotten what humans can become. One day, you will remind them." She closed her eyes. She did not open them again. Yuna woke in her academy bed. Her face was wet with tears. Hana slept peacefully in the next bed, unaware of the ghost that lived beside her. Yuna touched the blade under her pillow. The steel was cold against her fingers. "I will make you proud, grandmother," she whispered to the darkness. "I promise." The announcement came on a cold morning. All cadets gathered in the main hall. Commander Vorik stood on the stage with a smile that showed too many teeth. "The annual combat tournament begins in 3 days," he said. "Every cadet will participate. There are no exceptions. You will fight until one fighter cannot continue. This is how we separate the strong from the weak." His yellow eyes moved to the human cadets. "All species will compete in the same bracket. Fair and equal." But the bracket was not fair. When the matches were posted, every human faced the deadliest opponents in the first rounds. Taiho would fight a Karathi blade master. Hana would face a Draconite twice her size. And Yuna was matched against Gorok, a 4-armed Karvati champion who had won the tournament 3 years in a row. "This is murder," Hana said, staring at the bracket. "They want us to die." Taiho's jaw was tight. "We fight anyway. We show them what humans are made of." Yuna said nothing. She looked at Gorok's name on the screen. 4 arms, 4 blades. A species born for combat. The galaxy considered Kovati the greatest blade fighters in existence. They had never met a Jiangui. The tournament began. Cadets filled the arena seats. Holographic cameras floated above the fighting floor, broadcasting across the academy. Commander Vorik sat in the command box, watching with satisfaction. Hana fought first. Her opponent was brutal and fast. She dodged and weaved, using her pilot reflexes to survive longer than anyone expected. But in the end, size and strength won. She was thrown from the ring, bruised but alive. The crowd gave her a small cheer. Humans, at least, could entertain them. Taiho fought next. His style was different from Yuna's. Rough and hard and angry. He traded blow for blow with his Korvathi opponent, refusing to fall. When he finally won by submission, the arena went silent. A human had won a match. That was not supposed to happen. Commander Vorik's smile faded. Then it was Yuna's turn. She walked onto the fighting floor. The arena was huge. Lights blazed down from above. Thousands of eyes watched her. She felt small. She looked small. Her training uniform hung loose on her thin frame. Her hair was tied back in a simple ponytail. She carried a single practice blade, standard academy issue. Gorok entered from the other side. He was massive. His forearms rippled with muscle. Each hand held a curved blade. His species had evolved for this. For combat. For killing. He looked at Yuna and laughed. The sound echoed through the silent arena. "They sent me a doll," he said. "A tiny human doll. I will try not to break you too quickly, little thing." The referee raised his hand. "Fighters ready." Yuna shifted her weight slightly. Her blade came up to a basic guard position. Her face was empty. Her eyes were calm. "Begin." Gorok charged. He was fast for his size. His 4 blades spun in a pattern designed to overwhelm. No single opponent could block 4 weapons at once. That was the Korvathi advantage. That was why they always won. Yuna moved. She did not block. She did not retreat. She flowed around his attack like water around a stone. Her body bent at angles that seemed impossible. His blades cut only air. Garak spun and attacked again. Faster this time. Harder. His forearms became a storm of steel. Yuna danced dot, there was no other word for it. She moved through his attacks with perfect grace. Each step was precise. Each dodge was exactly enough and no more. She made it look easy. She made it look beautiful. The crowd went quiet. They had never seen anything like this. Garak grew frustrated. His attacks became wild. He overextended, reaching too far with his upper right arm, leaving his body open for just a moment. 1.3 seconds. That was all Yuna needed. Her blade moved 7 times. The crowd saw only a blur. A flash of silver. A flash of silver. A whisper of wind. Go, froze. Then he screamed. All 4 of his arms hung limp at his sides. Blood dripped from precise cuts at each shoulder and elbow. His blades clattered to the floor. He fell to his knees, unable to move, unable to fight, but alive. Yuna stood in the center of the arena. Her blade was clean. Not a single drop of blood touched the steel. Her breathing was normal. Her hair was not even out of place. She had not tried to kill him. She had disabled him with surgical precision. Every cut had severed exactly the right tendons. Nothing more. Nothing less. The arena was completely silent. Commander Vorik stood up in his command box. His scales had gone pale. His yellow eyes were wide. The referee found his voice. Winner. Cadet Park. No one cheered. No one moved. They simply stared at the small human girl who had destroyed a 4-armed champion in less than 2 seconds of actual combat. Medical teams rushed onto the floor. They surrounded Garuk, working to stop the bleeding. One of the doctors looked at the wounds and then looked at Yuna with something like fear. These cuts, he whispered to his colleague. They are perfect. Anatomically perfect. No surgeon could do this. Yuna walked off the fighting floor. The crowd parted for her like water before a ship. No one wanted to be close to her. Taeho was waiting in the tunnel. His face was pale. What did you do? He asked quietly. I won. Yuna, everyone saw. The way you moved. The precision. He grabbed her arm. They are going to ask questions. Let them ask. She kept walking. Behind her, she heard the whispers begin. They spread through the arena like ripples in a pond. The small human. The impossible speed. The band techniques. In his command box. Commander Vorik touched a communication panel. Get me Coalition High Command, he said. I have something they need to see. Hannah found Yuna in their room that night. Yuna sat on her bed, holding her blade, staring at the wall. That was you, Hannah said softly. The real you. Yuna did not answer. How long have you been hiding? My whole life. Hannah sat down beside her. It was beautiful. Terrifying, but beautiful. Like watching a storm. Yuna finally looked at her roommate. Her eyes were tired, old. They did not match her young face. My grandmother used to say that a blade is like a word. You cannot take it back once it is released. She looked down at the weapon in her hands. Today I release something I cannot take back. What happens now? Yuna thought about Commander Vorik, about the cameras, about the footage that was already spreading across the galaxy. Now, she said, they come for me. The footage spread across the galaxy in hours. Military analysts watched it again and again, slowing it down frame by frame. Social networks exploded with theories. News channels ran special reports. Everyone wanted to know the same thing. What was that small human girl, and how did she do the impossible? Coalition High Command sent investigators to the academy. They were serious men and women from a dozen different species. They asked questions. They reviewed records. They studied the footage until their eyes ached out, and they came to a terrifying conclusion. The techniques matched fragments from Earth-sealed archives. Fragments that were supposed to be destroyed. Fragments that described warriors so deadly they were classified as weapons of mass destruction. Una Park was confined to her quarters. Armed guards stood outside her door. She was not allowed visitors. She was not allowed communication. She sat alone in her small room, waiting for judgment. Commander Vorax moved quickly. He saw an opportunity to destroy not just one human, but all of them. He gathered evidence. He built a case. He whispered in the right ears and spread the right lies. The human government sent her, he told the investigators. She is an assassin. A weapon hidden inside a cadet uniform. Earth planned this from the beginning. They want to infiltrate the coalition. They want to destroy us from within. The evidence he presented was compelling. Forged communication records. Fake mission orders. A carefully constructed story that pointed to a human conspiracy. The investigators believed him. Execution orders were prepared. Una Park would be transported to a secure facility and terminated. No trial, no appeal. The techniques she possessed were too dangerous to allow her to live. But not everyone was fooled. Beak worked through the night. He hacked into classified systems. He traced the evidence back to its source. And he found the truth. Commander Vorax had fabricated everything. The conspiracy was real, but it was Vorax's conspiracy, not Earth's. Dohyun could not go to the investigators. Vorax had too many allies. The evidence would disappear. Dohyun would disappear. He needed another way. He found Hanan in the pilot dormitory. "Listen to me carefully," he said, pressing a data chip into her hand. "Everything on this chip proves Vorax is lying. The fabricated evidence. The forged documents. All of it." Hana's eyes went wide. "What do you want me to do?" "Tomorrow night, they will transfer Una to a termination facility. I have the route. I have the timing. I need you to gather allies. Cadets who believe in the truth. Cadets who will not let an innocent woman die. They will kill us too." Dahyun's face was hard. "Then we die standing for what is right. That is better than living as cowards." Hana thought about Una, about the small girl with the gentle eyes and the impossible skills, about her roommate who had become her friend. "I will do it," she said. The next night was dark. Storm clouds covered the stars. Rain hammered against the academy buildings. It was perfect weather for what was about to happen. Una sat in her detention cell, hands folded in her lap. The guards outside laughed and joked. They did not take her seriously. She was small. She was chained. What could she do? At exactly midnight, the power failed. The lights went out. Emergency systems activated, casting red shadows down the hallways. The guards stopped laughing. "What happened?" one asked. "Probably the storm," another said. "It will come back." It did not come back. In the darkness, something moved. Something fast. Something silent. The first guard felt a touch on his neck. Then nothing. He crumpled to the floor, unconscious. The second guard turned, reaching for his weapon. He saw a shadow. Then he felt pressure on 3 points of his body. And his muscles stopped working. The third and fourth guards fell the same way. Quick. Clean. Not a single cry for help. When the emergency lights finally flickered to full power, Una's cell was empty. The 4 guards lay on the floor, breathing steadily, completely unharmed. Medical teams would later find no injuries. The guards simply stopped. The pressure point techniques Una had used did not exist in any coalition database. No species knew them. No medical scanner could explain them. Alarms filled the academy. Security teams mobilized. Commander Vorix screamed orders from his command center. Find her! She cannot have gone far. But Yuna was not running away. She was running towards something. Taiho met her in a hidden maintenance tunnel. He handed her a simple black uniform and her blade. Hana has gathered 12 cadets, he said. They believe in you. They have seen the evidence Dohyun provided. Where's Vorix? The Grand Hall. He's hosting a celebration. Coalition leaders are there. He plans to announce her capture and execution. Yuna changed into the black uniform. She strapped the blade to her back. Her eyes were calm, but something cold moved behind them. Then, I will go to the Grand Hall. Yuna. Taiho grabbed her arm. They have 50 guards. Security systems everywhere. Even you cannot fight that many. She looked at him. For a moment, she was not the small, gentle girl he had grown up with. She was something older. Something from the dark ages of Earth, when shadows moved with killing intent and empires fell to single blades. I do not plan to fight them, she said. I plan to teach them. She walked into the darkness of the tunnel. Taeho watched her go. He had known Yuna his entire life. He had trained beside her. He had seen her at her best and her worst. But tonight, for the first time, he truly understood what she was. She was not just a cadet. She was not just a warrior. She was a Geomgui, a blade ghost, the last of her kind, and she was about to remind the galaxy why that name had once made empires tremble. Outside, the storm grew stronger. Lightning split the sky. Thunder shook the buildings. It felt like a warning. It felt like a beginning. The Grand Hall was filled with light and laughter. Commander Vorix stood at the center of the stage, surrounded by coalition leaders from a dozen worlds. Crystal glasses clinked. Important people made important small talk. Guards lined the walls, weapons ready, eyes sharp. Tonight, Vorix announced, his voice booming through the speakers, we celebrate the protection of our great coalition. The human threat has been contained. The assassin has been captured. Earth's plot against us has failed. The crowd applauded. They believed him. Why would they not? He was a commander. He had evidence. He had authority. Then the lights flickered. The applause stopped. People looked up at the ceiling. The lights flickered again. Once, twice. Then they went out completely. Darkness filled the Grand Hall. Someone screamed. Guards activated flashlights. Beams of light cut through the black like frightened swords. Then the main doors opened. Yuna Park walked in. She was alone. She was unarmed. Her hands hung empty at her sides. Her black uniform made her almost invisible against the darkness. But her eyes caught the light somehow. They seemed to glow. She was smiling. Commander Vorix, she said. Her soft voice carried perfectly through the silent hall. You wanted to see what humans truly are. She stepped forward. The guards raised their weapons. She did not slow down. Allow me to demonstrate. Vorix's face twisted with rage. Kill her, now. The guards fired. Energy bolts streaked toward the small figure in black, but Yuna was not there anymore. She moved through the guards like smoke through fingers, like water through cracks, like death through a battlefield. Each guard that faced her fell without understanding what happened. She touched them with precise, gentle movements, and they collapsed. No blood. No screams. No visible injuries. Just falling bodies and the soft sound of armor hitting the floor. The crowd scrambled back against the walls. Coalition leaders cowered behind tables. They watched the impossible happen before their eyes. 50 guards. The best security the Academy could provide. Yuna walked through them in 30 seconds. When she stopped, she stood at the base of the stage. Commander Vorix was alone above her. His personal guard lay unconscious around him. His yellow eyes were wide. His scales had gone pale. "What are you?" He whispered. "Yun." I climbed the stairs slowly. Each step echoed in the silent hall. "I am what your fear created," she said. "When humanity was young, we had no claws, no fangs, no scales to protect us. So we learned to become something else, something that did not need natural weapons." She stopped in front of him. She was so small. He was so large. It should have been a joke. It was not. "Your kind has mocked humans since we joined the coalition. You'd call us weak, soft, fragile." Her voice was quiet, almost gentle. "You forgot that the most dangerous creatures in the universe are the ones that learn to survive without strength." Vorax reached for a weapon at his belt. His hand moved fast. Yuna's hand moved faster. She did not strike him. She simply touched his wrist. His fingers went numb. The weapon fell from his grip. She leaned close and whispered something in his ear. No one else could hear what she said, but whatever it was made the mighty commander sink to his knees. Tears streamed down his scaled face. Yuna stepped back. "I did not come here to kill you," she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "I came here to show you the truth." She pulled a data chip from her pocket and threw it to the nearest coalition leader. He caught it with trembling hands. "That chip contains proof that Commander Vorax fabricated evidence against me and against Earth. Every document, every forged order, every lie. I am not an assassin. I am a cadet who defended herself and her people. Investigators would later verify everything. Vorax was arrested. The conspiracy was exposed. The execution order was cancelled. But that night in the Grand Hall, none of that mattered yet. What mattered was the small human girl standing on that stage, surrounded by unconscious guards, facing down an entire galaxy that had underestimated her. The coalition leaders stared at her. They had watched her disable 50 trained soldiers without taking a single life. They had seen her move in ways that broke the laws of physics. They understood finally what humans could become. A senior coalition admiral stepped forward. His hands were raised in peace. "Cadet Park," he said carefully. "What do you want?" Yuna looked at him. The cold thing behind her eyes faded. She was just a young woman again, tired, sad, alone. "I want what every human wants," she said. "I want to be seen, not as a threat, not as a weapon, just as someone who belongs among the stars." 1 week later, Yuna faced a tribunal. But this time, Earth's government had sent representatives. They brought sealed records, ancient documents, the full history of the Jiangui. The techniques were banned, they explained, not because they were inhumane. They were banned because they were too effective. A single Jiangui could end wars, could topple empires, could assassinate anyone, anywhere, at any time. Earth had agreed to the ban to protect the galaxy from its own children. Yuna was the last of her line. Her grandmother had trained her in secret, hoping to preserve the knowledge. Not as a weapon. As a legacy. The tribunal offered Yuna a choice. She could return to Earth and live in exile. Or she could join a special coalition unit. A unit that handled threats too dangerous for conventional forces. A unit that needed someone who could move like smoke and strike like lightning. She chose to serve. The story ends in a hangar bay. A stealth vessel waits, engines humming. Taiho stands beside Yuna, ready to join her. Hana walks up the boarding ramp, already checking the ship's flight systems. Daiyan Beak watches from a distance. He raises his hand in a quiet salute. Yuna salutes back. Then she boards the ship. As the vessel rises into the sky, whispers begin to spread across the galaxy. Stories of the small human cadet who brought a commander to his knees. The delicate girl who walked through 50 guards like they were not there. The ghost who reminded the universe what humanity could become. They had called her fragile. They had called her weak. They were wrong. In the old tongue of Earth, they had a saying, still water runs deep. The galaxy was about to learn just how deep humanity's waters truly flowed. The ship jumped to hyperspace. The stars welcomed her home.